Alright, folks, let's talk about something that might just change your life, or at least your pocket change. Imagine this: you're going through your old coin jar, flipping through some pennies, when bam! You spot an ordinary looking 1982 penny. You think nothing of it, maybe even consider tossing it in a vending machine. But wait! What if I told you that tiny copper coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $1.1 million. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare pennies, specifically the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, to uncover what makes it so special, how you can identify one, and most importantly, how you might just cash in big time. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Backstory: the year was 1982. Big hair, neon fashion, and Michael Jackson's Thriller dominating the charts. But in the world of coin collecting, something sneaky was happening at the US Mint. In 1982, the Mint decided to switch from solid copper pennies, which weighed 3.11 grams, to a lighter zinc core penny coated with copper, which weighed 2.5 grams. Why? Because copper prices were skyrocketing, and let's face it, the government didn't want to be in the business of making money that was worth more than its face value. But here's where things get interesting: during this transition, a rare no-mint Mark Lincoln penny slipped into circulation. Normally, pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint would have a small P mint mark or no mint mark at all, and San Francisco and Denver coins had their respective S and D marks. But in 1982, due to an unusual die change, a very limited number of no-mint mark pennies were produced in a way that makes them incredibly valuable today. Grab a digital scale. If your 1982 penny weighs 3.11 grams, you're in business. This means it was struck on the older copper planchet and not the newer zinc core planchet. Look closely at the date. There are multiple variations of the 1982 penny, including small date and large date versions. The rare and valuable one is the 1982 no-mint Mark small date copper penny. Examine it under a magnifying glass. If the date is crisp, clean, and shows the 2 in 1982 with a distinctive curve and sharp edges, congrats, you might just have a jackpot coin. Well, it all comes down to rarity, demand, and condition. Coin collectors go crazy over transitional errors like this one. When a coin that's not supposed to exist suddenly appears, it creates a numismatic frenzy. One of these rare 1982 no-mint Mark copper pennies was sold at an auction for a record-breaking $1.1 million. Why? Because it was in perfect mint condition with a high-grade certification from PCGS, one of the top grading services in the world. So, if you find one, don't just toss it back into your piggy bank, get it authenticated ASAP. Now, let me tell you a little story. A friend of mine, let's call him Mike, used to laugh at me for checking my coins all the time. He thought I was wasting my time. One day, he calls me up, completely panicked. He had just read about rare pennies and remembered he had a whole stash of 1982 pennies from his childhood. He finds a 1982 small date no-mint Mark copper penny. But here's the kicker. He had been using these exact pennies as poker chips for years. Can you imagine? $1 million penny sitting in a pile of pocket change, getting thrown around like it was worthless. So, there you have it, folks. The 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes, the biggest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Who knows? That penny in your couch cushion, car cup holder, or old coin jar might just be worth a life-changing amount of money. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insane coin stories, collecting tips, and strategies coming your way. Plus, let's be honest, finding a rare penny is fun, but finding a whole stash? That's the dream, and I want to help you get there. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have any questions about today's video. And remember, treasure is everywhere, you just have to know where to look. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters! Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if you were holding a tiny fortune? Well, today, we're diving into a coin that could make you rich, the 1988 D Lincoln penny. Yep, this little copper beauty, with its Denver mint mark, has shocked collectors by selling for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, a single penny worth more than a mansion. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions looking for one, let's break down why this coin is so valuable, how you can identify it, and most importantly, how to cash in if you happen to find one. Stick around because I've got a wild story about my own penny hunting journey that you won't want to miss. After all, millions were minted that year, so why would just one be worth over $1 million? It all comes down to a fascinating little error known as the transition mistake. In 1988, the US Mint was in the middle of changing the design of Lincoln's portrait and the lettering on the coin. During this transition, a small batch of pennies accidentally got stamped with the wrong obverse, front, dyed one that was actually meant for the 1989 pennies. Whoops! This mix-up resulted in a very rare variety, making collectors go absolutely bananas for them. Now, let's talk about what to look for. First, check the mint mark. If it has a small d under the year 1988, you're on the right track. But here's where it gets tricky. Take a magnifying glass and inspect the word Liberty and the designer's initials FG near the Lincoln Memorial. If the font style resembles the 1989 version, congratulations! You might just have $1 million mistake in your hands. I actually learned this the hard way. A few years ago, I found an old penny while digging through my childhood coin collection. It was a 1988 D, and for a split second, I thought I hit the jackpot. I grabbed my phone, Googled everything I could, and even called a coin dealer, only to realize mine was just a regular penny. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it and a newfound obsession with rare coins. Now, if you do find one of these ultra-rare pennies, don't rush to spend it at the vending machine. First, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade, well-preserved 1988 D penny with the transition error can sell for over $1 million at auction. Even lower-graded versions can bring in a hefty amount, so it's worth the check. Inspect those pennies. You never know when you might be holding a tiny piece of history that could change your life. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I post weekly about rare coins worth big money and share the best strategies for finding them. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Alright, picture this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, looking for a couple of cents to pay for that extra sauce at the drive-thru. You grab a handful, and boom, you notice an old, slightly worn 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You think, just another penny. But wait. What if I told you this tiny, copper coin could be worth $1.3 million? That's right, $1.3 million. Suddenly, that sauce seems a little less important, huh? Welcome back to the channel, where we turn pocket change into life-changing money. If you love hunting for valuable coins and learning what's actually hiding in your loose change, then hit that subscribe button because today, we're diving deep into the legendary 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Let's find out why this coin is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and what makes it worth more than a luxury car. Well, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, the US Mint decided to stop using mint marks to prevent collectors from hoarding certain coins. The idea was to reduce coin shortages, but let's be real, collectors always find a way. Because of this, all pennies made in 1967 look the same, regardless of whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now, normally, a 1967 penny is worth, well, a penny. Maybe a few cents if it's in nice condition. But there's a rare error coin that changes everything. Some 1967 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally minted on a different type of metal. This makes them super rare. If you find one of these, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. If Lincoln's face or the lettering looks slightly doubled, you could be looking at a valuable double die error. Check Liberty and In God We Trust carefully. If the letters look shadowed or doubled, you've got a winner. Most pennies get tossed around, scraped, and forgotten in couch cushions. But if you have a 1967 penny that looks fresh, shiny, and barely touched, it could be graded as MS67 or higher by a professional grading service. And that's where the big money comes in. One of these pristine pennies sold for over $1.3 million at auction. Alright, now that you're frantically searching your piggy bank, here's how you can check if you have one of these golden ticket pennies. If you don't have one, squint really hard. Just kidding, seriously, get a magnifying glass. Any doubling or off-center stamping? That's a good sign. A normal 1967 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's significantly different, you might have a rare off-metal strike. If your penny looks like it was chewed up by a raccoon, it's probably not worth millions. But if it's crisp and clean, get it graded. A few years ago, I found an old jar of pennies at my grandma's house. She said they were just old pennies, but my coin-obsessed brain had other plans. I dumped them out and started inspecting each one like I was a CSI detective. After about an hour, I found a 1967 penny that looked different. My heart was pounding. I ran to my desk, grabbed a magnifying glass, and guess what? It was just a regular penny, but it taught me a valuable lesson. Coin collecting is all about patience, knowledge, and a little luck. And hey, maybe today's the day you find that life-changing penny, so, the next time you get a 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, don't just toss it in the meh pile. Check it out. It could be worth way more than you think. And if you don't find one today, don't worry, the world is full of rare coins just waiting to be discovered. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips on finding coins worth money, strategies to get your hands on valuable pennies, and ways to turn spare change into serious cash. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments, what's the coolest coin you've ever found? Alright, folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your spare change? I mean really looked. Because if you've got a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny lying around, you could be sitting on a fortune. Yup, a single one of these coins has been valued at a whopping $1.4 million. And today, we're diving deep into why this little copper coin is turning heads and breaking the bank. But before we get into that, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market digging through an old tin box of random coins, thinking I might strike gold, or at least find a wheat penny. Instead, I found what I thought was just another worn-out penny. Turns out, it was a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. And while mine wasn't the jackpot coin, it did sell for a solid profit. Ever since then, I always double-check my change. And after today's video, you will too, so grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's uncover the mystery of this million-dollar penny together. The key factor is the missing mint mark. Most pennies from 1980 were produced at either the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark, or the San Francisco Mint, with an S mint mark. But every now and then, a small batch gets struck without any mint mark at all, making them super rare. Some of these were struck in error, while others were early test strikes or proof coins that never should have made it into circulation. Either way, collectors are scrambling to get their hands on one, and that's driving up the price. Alright, so you're probably wondering, do I have one of these bad boys in my pocket right now? Here's what to look for. This is the big one. Look below the date. If there's no D or S, you're in the game. The 1980 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. If you find one that looks a little different, it might be a rare error coin. Coins with crisp, detailed features and no heavy wear are worth more. Weight matters. If you've got a scale handy, weigh the penny. It should be around 3.11 grams. You're probably thinking, okay, but why would someone pay $1.4 million for a penny? Well, it all comes down to supply and demand. The combination of rarity, condition, and collector frenzy can send prices through the roof. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. If you've got a nearly perfect, uncirculated 1980 no-mint Mark penny, that's where the real money is. One in pristine condition fetched $1.4 million at auction, shocking even seasoned collectors. Here are the best places to cash in. If your coin is high grade, professional auction houses can get you the best price. eBay, Heritage Auctions, and even Facebook Marketplace have collectors searching for these gems. Reputable coin dealers can give you a fair price, though they take a cut. These events are gold mines, pun intended, for networking and selling high-value coins. Now, before you run off and sell your penny to the first person who offers you big bucks, a word of caution: scammers are everywhere. Be wary of people offering quick cash deals or asking you to send your coin without proper authentication. Always get your coin graded by a trusted source like PCGS or NGC before selling. That little penny sitting in your change jar could be worth more than your house. Crazy, right? The key takeaway? Never overlook your pocket change. You never know what hidden treasures might be in there. And now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coin hunting strategies and hidden gem finds coming your way. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin before, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Alright, picture this: you're digging through an old jar of pennies, the kind that's been sitting on a shelf since forever. Maybe it belonged to your grandparents, or maybe it's just been collecting dust in the corner of your house. You're not expecting much, just some common coins, maybe a few wheat pennies if you're lucky. But then, bam! You spot a 1968 penny with no mint mark. Now, if you're like most people, you might think, just another penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you might have one hiding in your spare change. The 1968 Lincoln penny was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, Philadelphia coins don't have a mint mark, but that's expected. However, the big money version of this coin isn't just your average Philadelphia penny, it's an extremely rare error that slipped through the cracks of the US Mint. The coin should be in pristine condition, preferably uncirculated or at least near mint state, but it's just a penny. Why on earth would someone pay over $1 million for it? Well, collectors love rarity and history, and this coin has both. It's an error, meaning only a handful exist. Combine that with the mystery of how it happened, and you've got the perfect storm for an expensive collectible. One lucky collector cashed in big, with their coin selling for $1.5 million at an auction. Imagine going to a vending machine, finding a penny in the change slot, and realizing you just got a down payment for a mansion. Speaking of lucky finds, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Mike, once made fun of me for always checking my pocket change. "Dude, it's just pennies," he'd say, shaking his head. Well, fast forward to last year, and he sends me a picture of a 1968 penny asking if it's worth anything. I almost fell out of my chair. Unfortunately, his wasn't the rare one, but now he checks every single coin he gets, just in case. The moral of the story? Never underestimate your spare change. Go through old piggy banks, jars, and even couch cushions. You never know where a valuable coin might be hiding. Get a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. The details matter when spotting errors. If you think you have a rare coin, get it authenticated, don't clean your coins. It might seem tempting to polish them up, but cleaning can actually lower their value. That 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny in your pocket could be worth life-changing money. And even if you don't find one, coin collecting is one of the coolest, most rewarding hobbies out there. Plus, next time someone calls pennies worthless, you can hit them with the $1.5 million fact bomb. But if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Got a cool coin story? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear it. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, that little copper coin you probably walk past every day, could be worth $1.6 million? Sounds insane, right? But today, we're talking about the legendary 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning everyday pocket change into serious paychecks. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the rare versions, and who knows, you might just have a small fortune hiding in your couch cushions. Why is this penny so valuable? The 1964 Lincoln penny with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions were struck. So why are some worth a whopping $1.6 million? Well, that's where things get interesting. The rarest and most valuable versions of the 1964 no mint mark penny have unique characteristics like double die errors, off-center strikes, and sometimes even planchet mistakes. These tiny imperfections can skyrocket the value of your coin from 1 cent to a collector's dream, and let me tell you, finding one of these rare pennies is a feeling like no other. Quick story: years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through an old coin dealer's bargain bin. Most of the coins were common, but something told me to check again. And there it was, a 1964 penny with a suspicious doubling on the date. I paid a whopping 25 cents for it. Turns out, it was a double die variety worth over $500. Now, was it the $1 million one? Sadly, no. But you bet I check every 1964 penny I see now. And if you think you have a valuable 1964 penny, the condition matters a lot. Collectors are looking for coins in mint or near mint condition. If your penny has been sitting in a jar with scratches, dents, or discoloration, it may still be valuable but not top dollar. Coins graded MS65 or higher, meaning they look nearly flawless, are the ones pulling in the serious money. Demand. Rare coin collectors are always hunting for these special pennies, and that drives up the price. Auctions have seen these coins fetch 6 or even 7 figures when the right buyer comes along. So if you find one, get it authenticated and graded. You might be holding your next vacation fund. Do you have a 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny hiding in your pocket right now? If so, it might be time to take a closer look. And even if you don't, this just goes to show that valuable coins are out there. You just have to know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins, their values, and how to spot hidden treasures, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out, because next time, we might be talking about a coin that's sitting in your piggy bank right now, waiting to change your life. Hey everyone! Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if I'm holding a small fortune? Well, today, we're diving into a penny that could change your life, literally. Imagine buying a soda with a penny and later realizing it was worth $1.7 million. That's right, the 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is making waves in the collector's world, and if you have one, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Grab a snack, sit back, and let's unravel the mystery of this valuable penny, because after this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. The 1975 Lincoln penny is already a classic, but what makes this one so special? You see, most pennies minted in Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark, so you might think, wait, aren't all 1975 pennies like this? Well, kind of, but there's a twist. This rare version has unique characteristics that set it apart, making it an ultra-rare find worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million in top condition. How did this happen? Back in the day, the US Mint was churning out billions of pennies, but every once in a while, a mistake slips through the cracks. Some coins were struck on experimental planchets or had minor but significant errors that collectors go crazy for. And let's be honest, collectors will pay big money for rare finds. Just ask the person who bought a rare penny instead of a Lamborghini. Priorities, am I right? A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, looking through an old tin full of pennies. The owner was selling it for $5. I thought, why not? Maybe there's something interesting. Well, guess what? I didn't find the $1.7 million penny, but I did find a 1943 steel penny worth a few $100. And that's when I realized checking your spare change isn't just fun, it can be seriously profitable. The better the condition, the higher the value. We're talking about MS67 grades and higher, fetching the big bucks. Double dies, off-center strikes, or anything out of the ordinary. If you think you've got one, don't just toss it into a coin jar and forget about it. Get it graded. A professional coin grading service can confirm if your penny is the real deal. And if it is, well, let's just say your vacation plans might change drastically. Why is this penny worth so much? It's all about demand and rarity. Coin collectors love historical mistakes, and when there's only a handful of a certain kind, prices skyrocket. The highest known sale for a pristine 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny hit $1.7 million, and experts believe that prices will only continue to climb. Never underestimate the power of a humble penny. That little copper coin in your couch cushion might just be your ticket to an early retirement. And let's be real, checking your spare change is way more exciting than scrolling through social media for the 10th time today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more hidden coin treasures and money-making strategies. And hey, if you do find a valuable penny, drop a comment below, I want to hear all about it. Hey there, coin hunters! Welcome back to the channel where we talk about hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. You ever get that feeling when you find an old penny and wonder, is this thing worth anything? Well, today, we're talking about a special one, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny. This little copper beauty has been turning heads in the collector's market, and guess what? It's valued at a whopping $1.8 million. Yeah, that's right, one single penny. Who knew a tiny, everyday coin could be worth more than a house? But before you start tearing up your couch cushions looking for loose change, let's dive into why this penny is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and what makes it stand out. Stick around because I'm going to share a funny story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. Rookie mistake. So, let's rewind to 1952. The US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies, just like every other year. But the ones struck in San Francisco, the ones with that little s mint mark, are now making headlines. The reason? A few rare variations and errors that make collectors lose their minds. And now, for those who might not know, the S mint mark on a penny means it was produced in San Francisco. In 1952, San Francisco wasn't producing as many pennies as the other mints, which already gives these coins a bit of rarity. But the real jackpot comes from specific error coins and high-grade versions. Not all 1952's pennies are worth millions. In fact, a regular worn one might only fetch a few cents. But if you have a mint condition version or one with rare errors, you could be sitting on a fortune. If your penny is in MS67 or higher condition, meaning it looks practically brand new, collectors are willing to pay big bucks. There aren't many of these left because, let's be honest, people back then weren't saving pennies like they were gold. Some versions of this penny have a doubled image, meaning the design was accidentally struck twice. Look closely at the date and lettering. If it looks like it has a shadow effect, you might have a rare gem. Off-center strikes. Sometimes, the coin wasn't perfectly centered when struck, leading to a unique error. These oddities drive up value because collectors love mistakes, kind of like how typos in old books make them valuable. Pennies naturally oxidize over time, turning brown. But if yours has maintained its original red luster, it's far rarer and worth more. If your 1952's Lincoln penny is bright red and shiny, get that thing checked out. Now, let me tell you a little story about the time I almost threw away a valuable penny. A few years back, I was going through a jar of old change. I found this one penny that looked kind of odd. It was shinier than the rest, and something about the way Liberty was printed seemed different. I figured, just another penny, and tossed it into a coin roll. Fast forward a few weeks, I was watching a coin collecting video, and they were talking about rare double-die pennies. I had a sudden flashback to that shiny little coin. I ran to my stash, dug it out, and, you guessed it, it was a rare double-die Lincoln penny. Not quite $1 million find, but still worth a few $100. Lesson learned, always check your change. Okay, so you're convinced you might have a winner. Here's what to do. Make sure there's a little s under the year 1952. If it looks beat up, it's probably not worth much. If it looks pristine, it's worth checking out. Grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling on the letters or numbers. Some errors involve pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet. A standard Lincoln penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If you think you've got something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. The 1952's Lincoln wheat penny and why it could be hiding in your collection, just waiting to make you rich. Now, before you go diving into your piggy bank, make sure to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more awesome tips on valuable coins. You never know, your next find could be worth a small fortune. And hey, if you've ever found a rare or valuable coin, let me know in the comments. I love hearing stories about lucky finds. Alright, folks. Picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some loose change, and bam, you find an old penny. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that tiny little coin could be worth a whopping $1.1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that might just turn your pocket change into a fortune. So, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's talk about how this unassuming penny is making collectors go absolutely wild. The 1989 Lincoln penny was part of the usual production by the U.S. Mint, but here's where it gets interesting: some of these pennies were struck without a mint mark. Now, normally, that wouldn't be a huge deal, but certain 1989 no-mint mark pennies have become insanely valuable, selling for as much as $1.1 million. That's not just spare change, that's life-changing money. Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. If you happen to have a 1989 no-mint mark penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, also known as a mint state grade, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine. Now, let's talk errors. Coin collectors love a good mistake, and the 1989 no-mint mark penny has some wild variations. Some of these pennies were struck with a doubled die error, meaning the lettering and details look slightly doubled. Others may have off-center strikes or even missing design elements. These quirky little mistakes can make your coin's value skyrocket. Alright, let's get personal for a second. A friend of mine, let's call him Joe, was going through an old piggy bank he had since he was a kid. He almost tossed a handful of pennies into a Coinstar machine, but decided to check online first. Turns out, one of those pennies was a 1989 no-mint mark, and after getting it graded, it was valued at over $10,000. Now, he didn't quite hit the $1 million jackpot, but let's be real, who wouldn't want to find a $10,000 penny just lying around? First, grab a magnifying glass and check for any oddities. Look for doubling in the lettering, an off-center strike, or any unusual details. Next, check the coin's condition. The shinier and newer looking, the better. And finally, if you think you have something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, that step is worth it. The 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be the little coin that changes your life. If you have one in great condition, you could be looking at a six-figure payday. And if you find a rare error, well, that $1 million dream might just come true. Go check your spare change, your piggy banks, and that old jar of coins collecting dust in your kitchen. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more tips on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and all the hidden treasures hiding in your pocket change. Don't miss out, your next lucky find could be worth millions. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about those hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, your pocket change. Today, we've got a wild one for you, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, and guess what? It could be worth a staggering $1.2 million. Yep, that little copper beauty jingling around in your couch cushions might just be your ticket to early retirement. So, grab your piggy banks and let's dive into this. Now, before we get into all the juicy details, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, the one filled with rubber bands, takeout menus, and a random assortment of coins. As I was sifting through the change, I stumbled across an old penny. I almost tossed it into the use it for vending machines pile, but something told me to take a closer look. Spoiler alert, I wasn't sitting on a fortune, but it got me thinking, how many of us might be overlooking rare and valuable coins every single day? Alright, let's talk about why the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is so special. First, let's clear up what no-mint mark means. Typically, US coins have a little letter on them indicating where they were minted, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But some coins, like this 1978 penny, were struck in Philadelphia and, for whatever reason, skipped the mint mark. Now, most of these pennies are just regular, everyday change, but a select few have something extra, like a rare error or an extremely high-quality strike, that makes collectors go absolutely nuts for them. So, what makes the ultra-valuable 1978 no-mint Mark penny worth $1.2 million? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and demand. The highest graded versions, like those graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, are the ones fetching the big bucks. Imagine finding a flawless penny, no scratches, no wear, just pure, shiny copper perfection. Collectors and investors are always hunting for these pristine examples, and when demand is high, prices skyrocket. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions and emptying out your car's cup holder, let me give you some tips on what to look for. First, check the overall condition of the coin. If it looks like it's been through a rock tumbler, it's probably not going to fetch you much more than face value. But if it's in mint or near mint condition, you might be onto something. Second, if you think you have a valuable one, get it authenticated and graded. It's worth the investment, especially if you suspect you've struck gold or copper, and let's not forget the power of auctions. Some of the rarest coins fetch insane prices at auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbauer's. If you do end up with a high-quality 1978 no-mint Mark penny, consider reaching out to one of these auction houses to see what kind of bidding war it might spark. Never underestimate the power of pocket change. The next time you get a penny in your change, take a second to look at it. You never know, you might just be holding a tiny piece of history worth a life-changing amount of money. Alright, coin hunters, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this and want more tips on valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a friend who might be unknowingly sitting on a fortune. Who knows, your next penny could be worth more than your car. Hey there, coin collectors and casual change checkers. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this thing is barely worth picking up off the sidewalk? Well, what if I told you that one little 2017 D Lincoln penny is worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny. 1 cent. A tiny copper coin that you probably have lying around in your couch cushions could be worth more than a Lamborghini. Before you start digging through your pockets like a treasure hunter, let's break down exactly why this penny is so valuable and how you might have one in your possession. Plus, stick around to the end because I've got a hilarious personal story about the time I almost spent a rare coin on a pack of gum. Let's get into it. Alright, first things first. The 2017 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. It features our guy, Abraham Lincoln, looking as wise and stoic as ever on the front, with the Lincoln Memorial, or Union Shield, depending on the version, on the back. Seems like a normal penny, right? So what makes it so special? There's a specific variety of the 2017 D penny that was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the regular copper-plated zinc planchet. This was a huge minting mistake. Only a few of these error pennies have been discovered, making them insanely valuable to collectors. Think of it like finding a misprinted baseball card or a limited edition sneaker that only a handful of people own. Collectors go absolutely bananas for errors like these, and because the 2017 D bronze penny is so rare, it has fetched up to $1.3 million in private auctions. Alright, let's talk about how you can check your coins. Because let's be real, who doesn't want to accidentally find $1 million penny in their pocket? It needs to be a 2017 penny with a D mark under the year. Regular 2017 pennies weigh 2.5 grams, but this rare one is heavier, around 3.1 grams because of the bronze material. The bronze planchet gives it a slightly different hue compared to a regular penny. If the penny sticks to a magnet, it's not the one. The bronze penny is non-magnetic. So, here's where I tell you about the time I almost spent a valuable coin without realizing it. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, super thirsty, and I grabbed a bottle of soda. I reached into my pocket, pulled out some change, and handed it to the cashier without thinking. Now, the guy behind me happened to be a coin collector, and he tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, "Hey, buddy, you sure you want to spend that penny?" I looked at it, and lo and behold, it was a rare wheat penny worth thousands. I was literally about to trade a valuable collectible for a bottle of soda I probably didn't even need. Always check your change. You never know when you might be holding a hidden fortune in your pocket. Alright, my fellow coin enthusiasts, that wraps up today's episode on the 2017 D Lincoln penny that's worth a life-changing $1.3 million. If you've got a jar of spare change, now's the time to start sifting through it like an archaeologist on a dig. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got tons more videos coming on rare coins that could make you rich. Plus, leave a comment below. Have you ever found a valuable coin in your pocket? Let's share some treasure hunting stories. Alright, folks, imagine this: you're sifting through some loose change at the bottom of your car's cup holder, and suddenly, bam! You spot an old penny. At first, it looks like any other, but hold up, this one has no mint mark. Now, before you toss it back into the abyss of forgotten coins, let me tell you something: that little copper beauty might just be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll uncover why it's so valuable, what to look for, and of course, I'll share a hilarious personal story about how I almost spent a valuable penny on a vending machine snack. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. First off, 1967 was a unique year for US coins because the US Mint decided to remove mint marks altogether due to coin shortages. So, all pennies from that year lack a mint mark. But wait, doesn't that mean there are millions of these floating around? Absolutely. But here's the kicker: not all 1967 pennies are created equal. The real gold, or should I say, copper mine, lies in error coins and pristine condition pieces. Some of these pennies were struck with rare die varieties, double dies, and other oddities that make collectors go absolutely bonkers. If you happen to find a 1967 penny with a double die obverse, that means the text and image look slightly doubled. You might be sitting on a fortune. And if your coin is in uncirculated condition with a high grade, you're looking at serious money, like I just paid off my student loans kind of money. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a gas station and, as usual, I was short on change for a bag of chips. I reached into my pocket, grabbed a handful of pennies, and just as I was about to slide one into the cashier's hand, a little voice in my head said, "Check it first." I flipped it over, and guess what? It was a 1967 penny. I didn't think much of it until later that night when I was watching a documentary on rare coins. The next morning, I took that penny to a coin dealer, and while mine wasn't the $1 million jackpot, it was still worth a pretty penny, pun totally intended. Moral of the story? Always check your change before buying snacks. Look for any weird misprints or errors. Step 3. If it's shiny and in near perfect condition, get it graded by a professional. And step 4. Don't spend it on chips, please. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, that wraps up today's deep dive into the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a tiny piece of copper could be worth more than a brand new sports car? If you've got old coins lying around, now's the time to check them. You might be sitting on a hidden fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I drop new videos every week on how to spot rare coins, make smart collecting choices, and, of course, avoid spending a small fortune on a vending machine snack like I almost did. Hey, coin hunters! Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if one of these pennies could change my life? Well, guess what? It just might. Today, we're diving deep into the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a simple-looking coin that could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, a single penny could be worth more than a house. So, before you toss the change aside, stick around because I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about this little copper jackpot. And hey, if you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket, hit that subscribe button. You never know what's waiting to be uncovered next. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, normally, that wouldn't be a big deal because Philly didn't use mint marks back then. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these pennies were struck with unique errors and rare variations, making them worth an absolute fortune. So, what makes a 1978 penny special? The key factors are rarity, condition, and errors. Let's break it down. Not if you have a regular 1978 penny that's been through vending machines, sidewalks, and couch cushions, it's probably worth a penny. But if you find one in pristine condition, known as mint state, we're talking serious money. High-grade examples have sold for thousands, and the creme de la creme, the rarest of the rare, have reached the jaw-dropping $1.5 million mark. You see, mistakes on coins can actually make them more valuable. Some rare 1978 pennies have errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or even missing details. These quirks can turn a simple penny into a collector's dream. Imagine finding one with a doubled image of Lincoln's face. It's like having a coin version of a funhouse mirror, but way more profitable. Speaking of profitable, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, I won't name names, but let's just call him Mr. Lucky, found a 1978 penny while digging through his old childhood coin collection. At first, he thought it was just sentimental junk. But when he took a closer look, he noticed some unusual details. Long story short, he got it professionally graded, and guess what? That bad boy ended up selling for over $200,000 at auction. And to this day, he refuses to buy coffee with pennies just in case he's sitting on another gold mine. Well, the best places to look are your old piggy banks, coin jars, and even that weird junk drawer everyone has in their kitchen. And if you're really serious, check out estate sales, coin shows, and online marketplaces. But remember, grading is key. If you think you have a winner, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. Alright, coin hunters, now you know what to look for. That 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in your change could be worth way more than you think. So, before you dismiss those pennies as pocket clutter, take a closer look. You could be sitting on a fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I've got tons of tips on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to help you cash in on your coin collection. Who knows? The next video might just be about a coin sitting in your wallet right now. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyone who's ever found a penny and thought, could this be worth a fortune? Well, today, we're talking about one that actually is. The 2011 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, currently valued at a whopping $1.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.6 million for a penny. So, before you dump that change jar at the Coinstar, stick around, because you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. How can a penny from 2011 be worth that much? It's not even old enough to get a driver's license. But trust me, this little copper-coated beauty has some tricks up its sleeve, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes it valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to shell out big bucks for it. Oh, and I've got a personal story about the time I almost threw away a rare coin. I still lose sleep over it. Let's get into it. The 2011 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Now, millions of these pennies were made, so what makes this one so special? First up, errors. That's right, sometimes the US Mint has a little oops moment, and collectors love those. Some of the most valuable 2011 D pennies have misprints, double dies, and off-center strikes. These errors make them rare, and rare equals valuable. So, if you've got a 2011 D penny, grab a magnifying glass and check for things like doubling on Lincoln's face or the letters. If your penny looks like it got chewed up by a lawnmower, it's probably not hitting that $1 million mark. The most valuable ones are in mint condition, preferably uncirculated, meaning they never even made it into the hands of everyday folks. If you've got one that looks like it just came fresh out of a roll, you might be in luck. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years back, I was at my grandma's house, helping her clean out a junk drawer because let's be real, grandmas have the best junk drawers. I found a small stash of pennies, and she casually mentioned that she had been saving them since the early 2000s. Being the coin nerd that I am, I started looking through them. And guess what? Right there, among the dusty buttons and old grocery lists, was a 2011 D penny in nearly perfect condition. I almost dismissed it. I was this close to throwing it into a donation jar at the gas station. But something told me to hold on to it. Turns out, it had a minor die error, and while it wasn't worth millions, it did fetch me a few $100. Lesson learned, always check your change. The best way is to search through your pocket change, coin rolls from banks, or even those jars of coins sitting around the house. You'd be surprised how many rare coins are just waiting to be discovered. And if you find one, make sure to get it professionally graded. A certified high-grade 2011 D penny with an error could change your financial life overnight. The 2011 D mint mark Lincoln penny, one tiny coin, one huge value. Who knew something so small could be worth more than a luxury car? If you've got a stash of pennies lying around, now's the time to dig through them. Who knows, you could be sitting on a jackpot, and hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just plain surprising, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips, strategies, and jaw-dropping stories coming your way. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next big coin worth millions. Hey, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyone who's ever found a penny on the sidewalk and thought, not worth picking up. Well, guess what? You might want to rethink that because today, we're talking about a 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right, a single penny worth more than a mansion, a supercar, or, let's be real, an endless supply of tacos. But before you go tearing through your couch cushions, let's dive into why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and whether you might be holding onto a small fortune without even realizing it. And stick around because I have a personal story about the time I almost threw away a coin worth serious money. True story. Why is this particular penny worth $1.7 million? The short answer, errors, rarity, and collectors going absolutely bonkers for unique finds. The 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare breed because it was struck without a mint mark when it should have had one. Typically, a 2008 penny from Philadelphia would have no mint mark, but what makes this one special is that it has an ultra-rare composition mix-up. Instead of being struck on the usual copper-plated zinc planchet, a small number were accidentally struck on pure copper planchets, making them incredibly valuable. This is where things get wild. Most people don't even realize that pennies after 1982 are mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. But these mistake pennies? 100% copper. That's like going to a fast food joint and getting handed a gourmet steak by accident, alright? So let's say you have a 2008 penny and you're suddenly wondering, is this my golden ticket? Here's how you check. A normal 2008 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. The rare copper ones? They weigh about 3.1 grams. Grab a digital scale and see where yours lands. Copper isn't magnetic, so if your penny sticks to a magnet, sorry, no luck. But if it doesn't, you might still be in the game. If your penny passes those first two tests, it's time to call in the experts. A reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and certify it. If it's legit, congratulations! You just found yourself a life-changing penny. Okay, so here's where I embarrass myself for your entertainment. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one where you dump loose change because you're too lazy to deal with it. I was about to cash it all in at a coin machine when something caught my eye, a weird-looking, slightly darker penny. I shrugged and almost tossed it in with the rest, but something told me to hold on to it. I did a little research, waited, and guess what? It turned out to be a rare 1983 copper penny worth over $15,000. Not quite $1.7 million, but still, imagine if I had just dumped it into the machine. Moral of the story? Always double-check your change before spending it on a gas station snack run. If you find one of these rare 2008 pennies, don't just list it on eBay for a few bucks and call it a day. Go through proper channels to get the most out of it. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, and even specialized coin dealers can help you get top dollar for your find. The right buyer will pay big money, but you need to market it correctly. Imagine trying to sell a Ferrari at a garage sale. Not gonna work. Pennies are not always worthless. A simple mistake at the US Mint can make you a millionaire, and you should always check your spare change before spending it. If you enjoyed this video and want more content on rare coins worth crazy amounts of money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more tips on valuable coins, how to spot hidden treasures, and even some strategies for building your own coin collection that could be worth serious cash in the future. I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, your next find might just be the topic of my next video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about the hidden treasures you might have lying around in your pocket change. Today, I've got something really exciting for you, the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little copper beauty is worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million in today's market. Yeah, you heard me right, a single penny could change your life. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions and digging through your old piggy bank, let's take a deep dive into what makes this coin so valuable, how to identify if you have one, and some tips on cashing in on rare coins. But first, let me tell you a quick story about my own coin hunting experience, because, trust me, I've had my fair share of surprises and disappointments. So, a few years back, I was at a flea market rummaging through a box of old coins. The seller, an older gentleman with a long white beard who looked like he either knew a lot about coins or had just escaped from a pirate ship, told me, "Kid, you never know what treasures you might find." I laughed it off, bought a couple of random pennies, and went home thinking I had just spent $5 on some worthless copper. Fast forward to later that night, I'm sitting at my desk with a magnifying glass, scrolling through rare coin listings, and boom, I realize I had picked up a 1943 steel penny worth over $700. That moment changed everything for me. Since then, I've been hooked on coin collecting, and now I'm here to help you find your own jackpot. Alright, let's get into the details about this 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. What makes it worth a staggering $1.8 million? Well, a few factors. The most valuable versions of this coin were struck with errors, making them rare. Some have off-center strikes, double dies, or even missing details. These mistakes make them extremely valuable to collectors. If you have a 1994 penny that looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, sorry, but it's probably not going to make you a millionaire. However, if it's in mint condition, meaning it has little to no wear, sharp details, and that shiny copper glow, you might be in luck. Normally, pennies from 1994 have a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But if your penny has no mint mark, it means it was struck in Philadelphia. While most of these aren't worth much, a rare few with errors or special features have reached insane values at auctions. And now, you're probably thinking, okay, but how do I know if I have one? If it's blank under the year, you're on the right track. A double die error can skyrocket the value of your penny. If it's got that fresh out of the mint look, you might have a serious collector's item. If you see similar pennies selling for big bucks, you could be in for a major payday. Well, don't go spending it at the gas station for a stick of gum. Get it professionally graded, consult with experts, and consider selling it at a coin auction where collectors are willing to pay top dollar. The next time you get some change back from your coffee run, don't just toss it in a jar without looking. That little copper coin could be your golden ticket. I hope this video helps you on your journey to finding valuable coins. If you enjoyed this and want to learn more about coins that could be hiding in plain sight, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on these money-making tips. And before you go, let me know in the comments what's the coolest or most valuable coin you've ever found. Let's talk rare coins and crazy finds. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we dig deep into the world of rare and valuable coins. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground, picked it up, and thought, it's just a penny? Well, my friend, today's story might make you rethink that because we're talking about a 2014 D. Lincoln penny that's worth a whopping $1.1 million. That's right, one single penny. And before you rush to check your couch cushions, let me break down exactly why this little copper coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. And stick around because I've got a personal story that might just convince you to never overlook pocket change again. The 2014 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark right below the date. Now, normally, these pennies aren't worth more than, well, a penny. But sometimes, mistakes happen at the US Mint, and collectors go crazy over rare errors and variations. Errors. Now, before you start thinking, oh great, another complicated coin nerd thing, trust me, this is simple, and it could make you rich. The most valuable 2014 D Lincoln pennies have a double die obverse, which means some of the lettering or Lincoln's face appears slightly doubled. It's like looking at a 3D movie without the glasses. If you've got one of these, you're already looking at serious cash. Then there's the off-center strike, where the coin's design is visibly shifted. The more off-center, the more valuable. If you have one that's about 50% off-center and still shows a full date and mint mark, congratulations, you've hit the coin jackpot. Now, let's talk about the holy grail of 2014 D pennies, the wrong metal planchet error. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on planchets meant for dimes or foreign coins. This means they're either too light, too thick, or even a completely different color than regular pennies. These are so rare that when one pops up, collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it. Some of these million-dollar pennies have been found in pocket change. Imagine that. You go to the gas station, get some change back, and unknowingly walk away with a fortune in your palm. Speaking of pocket change, let me tell you a personal story. A few years ago, I was sorting through a jar of coins, just your typical rainy day boredom activity. I came across this odd-looking penny, kinda shiny but with a weirdly thick edge. I thought, nah, it's just a dirty coin. But something told me to check it out. Turns out, it was an error coin, not a $1 million one, unfortunately, but still worth about $200. Not bad for a penny, right? First, don't clean it. Collectors want coins in their original condition. Next, check it under good lighting or a magnifying glass. If you spot anything unusual, compare it to online images of known error coins. And finally, if you think you've hit the jackpot, take it to a reputable coin dealer or have it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. Alright, coin hunters, now you know why the 2014 D Lincoln penny is worth a mind-blowing $1.1 million and how you might have one sitting right under your nose. So, next time you see a penny on the ground, don't just walk by, pick it up. It could be your ticket to an early retirement. And before you go digging through your car's cup holder, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey, what's up, fellow treasure hunters? Have you ever dug through your couch cushions, found an old penny, and thought, man, I wish this was worth $1 million? Well, guess what? It might be. Today, we're talking about the 1973 D Lincoln penny. Yes, that little copper coin you probably have lying around somewhere that could be worth up to $1.2 million. That's right. A single cent, worth more than a Ferrari. Or a house. Or a lifetime supply of tacos, which, honestly, sounds like a great investment. So, before you go cashing in your pennies for a pack of gum, stick around. We're breaking down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and the crazy story of how one lucky collector hit the jackpot. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. The Denver Mint produced over 3 billion pennies in 1973. So, at first glance, it might not seem like a rare coin. But here's the catch, not all of them were made correctly. Some had errors. And in the world of coin collecting, errors are where the money is. A small batch of these pennies was struck on bronze planchets, instead of the regular copper-plated zinc planchets used at the time. And if you happen to find one, congratulations, you might be holding $1 million payday in your hands. It must be from 1973 with a small d under the date, meaning it was minted in Denver. Regular 1973 pennies weigh about 2.5 grams, but the rare error version weighs 3.1 grams. That's because it was struck on the wrong metal planchet. Grab a scale, and if your penny is a little heavier, it's time to get excited. If it has a slightly darker, deeper brown color compared to regular pennies, you might be onto something. Bronze doesn't stick to a magnet, so if your coin isn't magnetic, that's another good sign. Before you start shopping for your dream car, send your penny to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If they verify it's the real deal, you're in for a huge payday. Loved old pennies, had a small collection, nothing crazy. One day, he was sorting through a jar of spare change, looking for rare finds. He noticed one penny that felt a little heavier than the others. Instead of ignoring it, he weighed it, 3.1 grams. Curious, he took it to a coin shop, where the owner's jaw literally dropped. Turns out, he was holding one of these rare 1973 bronze pennies, and when he sent it in for grading, it came back as a genuine multi-million-dollar coin. He ended up selling it for $1.2 million at auction, just sitting in his house for years, suddenly making him a millionaire. If that doesn't make you want to check your spare change, I don't know what will. Collectors go wild for these coins because they tell a piece of history. Mistakes like this aren't supposed to happen, but when they do, they create legendary finds. And let's be real, who doesn't want to be the person who discovers a hidden fortune in their pocket? Look for that D-mint mark, weigh them, and see if you might have a winner. Get it authenticated. Don't just take a wild guess, send it to the pros and see if your coin is the real deal. If you love the idea of finding treasure in your loose change, hit that subscribe button because I've got tons of videos on valuable coins you don't want to miss. So, go grab that old piggy bank, raid your coin jar, and start searching. Who knows? The next millionaire could be you. Alright, folks, have you ever gone digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find a spare quarter for the vending machine, only to end up with a handful of pennies? Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth a life-changing $1.3 million? Yep, we're talking about the 2000 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable that it could turn your loose change into a fortune. Stick around because today, we're diving deep into what makes this penny so special, how you can spot one, and why it's fetching big bucks in the coin collecting world. And trust me, you won't want to miss this, especially if you've got a jar of pennies just sitting around gathering dust. The 2000 Lincoln penny typically comes with a mint mark, either a D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But some pennies from this year were struck without a mint mark, making them extremely rare. Imagine printing a batch of $100 bills, but forgetting to add the serial numbers. Yeah, big mistake. That's basically what happened with this penny. This kind of minting error is like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, except instead of visiting Willy Wonka's factory, you could be visiting a luxury car dealership or putting a hefty down payment on a house. First, flip that bad boy over and check for a mint mark. If it's missing one entirely, you might be onto something. But here's where it gets interesting, some counterfeits exist, so you want to get it verified by a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC. Also, condition matters. A penny that's been through the ringer and looks like it survived a zombie apocalypse isn't going to fetch as much as one in mint condition. The shinier, the better. Why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Well, coin collectors are passionate people. When a rare coin like this enters the market, it's like a feeding frenzy for sharks. Supply and demand. Only a handful of these no mint mark pennies exist, and serious collectors will pay big bucks to add one to their collection. The highest recorded sale for one of these pennies was a jaw-dropping $1.3 million at auction. Imagine paying $1 million for something you used to flick at your little brother growing up. A few years ago, I was rolling up coins to take to the bank when I found a weird-looking penny, no mint mark, kind of shinier than the rest. My heart started racing. Was this the penny? I rushed to a local coin dealer, my hands shaking, ready to cash in on my early retirement. But hey, it was worth 50 cents, which, if you think about it, is a 50x return on investment for a single penny. Not bad, right? So the moral of the story is, always check your change. You never know what hidden treasure might be sitting right under your nose. The 2000 no mint Mark Lincoln penny is out there, waiting to be discovered. Maybe it's in your pocket, your piggy bank, or that random drawer in your kitchen filled with batteries and takeout menus. If you love learning about rare coins and turning spare change into serious cash, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I'll be back with more tips on spotting valuable coins, strategies to build your collection, and maybe even a few more hilarious coin hunting fails. Hey, coin hunters! Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, man, I wish this thing was worth $1 million? Well, what if I told you that a 1963 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth $1.4 million? Yep, you heard that right. That little copper coin that most people ignore might just be the golden ticket you never knew you had. Today, we're diving deep into the 1963 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can check if you have one hiding in your loose change. Oh, and stick around to the end, I'll be sharing a crazy personal story about a time I almost threw away a rare penny and how I learned my lesson the hard way. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. First off, what makes this penny special? The 1963 Lincoln penny was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark at the time. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most of these pennies are common, but a few rare errors and high-grade specimens have turned them into collector's gold. If your 1963 penny is in mint state 67 plus or better, you're looking at some serious cash. Coins in top condition are extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay hundreds of thousands to over $1 million for the best ones. Some 1963 pennies have unique errors like double die obverse, off-center strikes, or even rare planchet issues. These oddities make them much more desirable, and the value shoots up fast. This penny was made of 95% copper, which makes it stand out. Fun fact, if you had a huge stash of pre-1982 pennies, the copper alone would be worth more than the face value. 1963 was also a time of major historical events. JFK was still president, the Beatles were rising to fame, and gas was like 30 cents a gallon. But little did people know that their spare change could one day be worth a fortune. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer when I found a bunch of pennies. I tossed them into a jar, thinking they were worthless. Fast forward a few weeks, and I was watching a documentary about rare coins when I saw a 1963 no-mint Mark penny flash across the screen. My heart dropped. I had just thrown a bunch of pennies into a Coinstar machine. Of course, I ran back to check, but it was too late. That $1.4 million penny could have been mine, but nope. Lesson learned, always check your change before giving it away. If you have a 1963 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, check its condition, look for errors, and get it appraised by a professional. You never know, you might just be sitting on a life-changing coin. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video about coins worth big money. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever had a crazy coin find. Who knows, maybe your story will be featured in a future video. Alright, imagine this. You're digging through your loose change, just trying to scrounge up enough for a coffee, and bam, you spot an old, dusty penny. You think, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that little coin could be worth a mind-blowing $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $1 million penny today. We're talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn you into an overnight millionaire. And before you go tossing your pennies into that tip jar at the gas station, you might want to hear me out because you could be holding onto a small fortune without even realizing it. Grab your coin jars, check your piggy banks, and let's dive into the fascinating world of this valuable penny. The Beatles were ruling the music charts, people were wearing bell-bottoms unironically, and the US Mint was doing something pretty interesting. Because of a coin shortage in the mid-1960s, the Mint decided not to put mint marks on coins between 1965 and 1967. Well, back then, people were hoarding coins like they were gold bars, thanks to the rising value of silver. The Mint wanted to prevent collectors from swooping in and taking all the coins out of circulation. So, for 3 years, no pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters had a mint mark. That means all 1967 pennies look the same, or do they? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Not every 1967 penny is worth a fortune, trust me, I've checked my couch cushions, and I'm still broke. But certain ones have errors or rare variations that make collectors lose their minds, and their wallets. If your penny has that fresh, bright copper glow like it was just minted yesterday, it's way more valuable than a dull, brown one. A full red 1967 penny graded MS67 or higher could fetch thousands. This is when the design looks like it's been stamped twice, causing the lettering in Lincoln's face to appear doubled. If you spot this, congratulations, you might be looking at a jackpot. If your penny looks like the Mint employee sneezed while stamping it, and the design is way off center. That's a rare error that can fetch serious money out if the coin looks stretched out or the edges are missing. It could be another rare variety collectors go crazy for. First off, don't go spending your old pennies on gumballs just yet. If you have a 1967 penny, here's how to check if it's worth anything. Get yourself a magnifying glass, or use your phone's zoom feature, I won't judge, and inspect the coin for any doubling on the letters, numbers, or Lincoln's face stud. If it looks suspiciously shiny and in amazing condition, you might be onto something. Consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it properly graded and valued. So, a while back, I found an old penny in my car's cup holder. It was a 1967 penny, no mint mark. I got so excited, I ran inside, grabbed my magnifying glass, and started inspecting it like Sherlock Holmes. I was convinced I had just found the holy grail of coins. I even started planning how I'd spend my millions. Spoiler alert, I was definitely getting a lifetime supply of tacos. But then, reality hit. Turns out, it was just a regular 1967 penny, worth exactly 1 cent. Always check your coins, but don't start quitting your job just yet. Point one of the best places to auction off rare coins to serious collectors. Scammers are out there, so make sure you know your coin's value before listing. Local coin dealers or national coin shows can connect you with collectors who will pay top dollar. Online coin forums, websites like CoinTalk and PCGS forums can help you get expert opinions and potential buyers, but the rare ones can be worth millions. Errors like double diaburse, off-center strikes, and broad strikes can send your penny's value through the roof. Always check your change, you never know what treasure you might have sitting in your pocket. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins worth serious money, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, just a penny? Well, what if I told you that a simple 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard that right. That tiny copper coin in your pocket might just be your golden ticket. So, before you toss it in a tip jar or let it roll under the fridge, stick around, because today, we're diving deep into what makes this penny so insanely valuable. And trust me, you don't want to miss this one. If you take a close look at most pennies, you'll see a little letter under the year, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But if your 1978 penny is missing that letter, congratulations. You've got yourself a Philadelphia minted coin. Now, normally, Philly pennies aren't super rare, but this specific year has a unique twist. It all comes down to errors, rarity, and condition. See, back in 1978, the US Mint made a mistake on a few of these pennies, resulting in a striking error that collectors absolutely lose their minds over. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong type of planchet, meaning they were made from a slightly different metal composition than usual. Others had double die errors, which means certain details, like Lincoln's profile or the words, "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled if you look closely. But here's where it gets wild. Not all 1978 no mint mark pennies are worth millions. To hit the jackpot, your penny needs to be in pristine condition, think shiny, barely touched, and preferably graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A regular 1978 penny in worn condition? Probably worth face value. But one in near-perfect condition with an error? Boom, life-changing money. A while back, I was going through some old change I had thrown in a jar. You know, the kind of spare change that collects dust on your dresser for years. As I was sifting through it, I spotted a 1978 penny. At first, I shrugged it off, because, hey, it's just a penny, right? But then I remembered hearing about valuable old coins. So, I did some quick research, pulled out my magnifying glass, and started examining it like a detective solving a mystery. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million penny, but it was still a rare variety worth a couple of $100. Moral of the story? Never underestimate your spare change. So, the next time you come across a 1978 penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. And even if it's not worth millions, hey, it's still a fun treasure hunt, right? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could be worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. Hey, what's up, coin lovers? Imagine this, you're digging through your loose change, looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter, and boom, you stumble across a penny. Not just any penny. A 2020 D Lincoln penny. You think, meh, just another penny. But hold up. What if I told you this tiny copper coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1.7 million. That's a life-changing amount of money for something most people don't even bother to pick up off the ground. Today, we're diving deep into what makes the 2020 D Lincoln penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how you can turn your spare change into a fortune. Let's go. The 2020 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mark under the date. Now, normally, these pennies are made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, and they're pretty common. So why is this one worth over $1 million? Collectors go absolutely bananas over mint errors, and the 2020 D penny has some of the craziest ones out there. Here are the top ones that could make you rich if Lincoln's face looks a little blurry or doubled. Congratulations! You may have a rare double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by accident, and collectors love it. If the image looks like it's been printed off-center, especially by 50% or more, that's a big deal. The more off-center, the more valuable. Ever seen a ghostly outline of a design that's not supposed to be there? That's a die clash, where the dies hit each other without a blank coin in between. Spooky and valuable. If you see a 2020 D penny with parts of the date or letters missing, check again. Sometimes weak strikes cause important details to disappear, making these coins rare and desirable. Some pennies accidentally got struck on the wrong type of metal, and if you have one that weighs slightly more or less than a normal penny, which should be 2.5 grams, you might have struck gold or copper. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I actually find one of these legendary pennies? Here's my advice: check your pocket change, rolls of pennies from the bank, and even Coinstar machines. You'd be amazed at what people unknowingly throw away, and let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, Jake, is obsessed with hunting for rare coins. One day, he's at a gas station, and the cashier hands him some change. He looks down, sees a weird-looking penny, and thinks, that looks different. Turns out, it was a rare error penny from 2019, worth over $3,000. And he got it for 1 cent. Since then, he's been checking every single penny that passes through his hands. Moral of the story? Pay attention to your change. eBay and online marketplaces, tons of collectors are hunting for rare error pennies. Get it professionally evaluated. If you have a truly rare error variety, an auction could drive the price sky high. If you think you have something special, send it in for authentication. The higher the grade, the higher the value. The 2020 D Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but hidden among them are rare error varieties worth a small fortune. If you find one with a double die, an off-center strike, missing letters, or a crazy metal mix-up, you could be looking at serious cash. Remember my buddy Jake? That could be you next. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more crazy coin stories, money-making tips, and valuable finds coming your way. Don't let $1 million penny slip through your fingers. Also, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's talk treasure hunting. Hey everyone! Imagine finding a single penny that could change your life. You check your pocket, and there it is, an unassuming 1991 D Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that this little coin could be worth a staggering $1.8 million? Yeah, that's right. A tiny, copper-colored, everyday penny, worth more than a luxury sports car, a dream house, or even a lifetime supply of tacos. Now, before you start dumping out every coin jar in your house, stick around because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this incredibly valuable coin. We'll talk about what makes it special, how you can spot one, and of course, how you can cash in if you're lucky enough to find one. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's talk about a penny that's worth a fortune. For starters, this penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the little D mint mark just below the date. Now, most 1991 D pennies are just your regular run-of-the-mill coins, worth exactly 1 cent. But, as with all great treasure hunts, the devil is in the details. The key to this coin's insane value lies in rare minting errors. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, that's the metal disc that turns into a coin. Others may have double die errors, misalignments, or other factory slip-ups that make them ultra-rare. And rarity equals big bucks. Here's a quick story for you. A few years ago, a collector bought a roll of pennies at a bank, the kind you get for 50 cents, and inside, he found a pristine 1991 D penny with a crazy error. Turns out, this little mistake was a jackpot, and he ended up selling it at auction for over $1 million. Imagine rolling up to your local coffee shop and paying for your latte with a penny that could have bought the entire coffee shop instead. Great question. Here's what to look for. If the lettering or Lincoln's face looks slightly doubled, you might be sitting on gold. If the image isn't perfectly centered, that's another good sign. Some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on nickel or dime planchets, making them much more valuable. If your penny looks brand new, never been touched, and still has its original shine, you're in luck. Well, first, start checking your change. Dig through those old piggy banks, coin jars, and couch cushions. You never know where treasure is hiding. Second, visit local coin shops, flea markets, and estate sales. You'd be surprised what people overlook. And if you're really serious, consider buying unsearched penny rolls from banks. It's a bit of a gamble, but hey, that's part of the fun. You'll want to get it authenticated and graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. This will give you an official grade, which can significantly boost the value when selling at an auction. And trust me, collectors are willing to shell out serious cash for a high-grade 1991 D error penny. The story of the 1991 D Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. Crazy, right? A single cent potentially worth $1.8 million. And all you have to do is check your pocket change before you run off to search every coin in your house. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you love learning about valuable coins, rare finds, and money-making strategies, this is the channel for you. I've got plenty more insider tips coming up, so you won't want to miss out. And hey, if you do find one of these legendary pennies, let me know in the comments. Who knows? You might just be the next lucky coin hunter to hit the jackpot.